Good morning, students of class 10. You are welcome back to the e-classes. Now let's do our history. Today's date is 19th of June 2021. The nationalist movement in Indochina. We are doing this. Number 5.0. The vision of modernization. This is the subtitle, and let us continue the lesson. Other nationalist, Pan Chao Trin, 1871 to 1926. This is Pan Chao Trin. Now, so far we have finished point up to point 5, 1 to 5. Now let's continue from 6 to 9 points. Let's go through one by one and pay attention now. In our previous class, what we have learned? We have learned about Pan Bai Chao. He was a nationalist and his idea was very different. He wanted to have a revolution against the French for a number of reasons. So now here, other nationalists, they differ in his views. In our previous class, we have learned about the history of the loss of Vietnam written by Pan Bai Chao. Now today we'll talk about another nationalist, Pan Chao Trin. Number 6, Pan Chao Trin was intensely means greatly hostile. Hostile means aggressive. So Pan Chao Trin was hostile, very much hostile or aggressive to the monarchy, because some of the monarchies were puppets under the French. So hostile to the monarchy and opposed to the idea of resisting the French. So he also want to modernize the Vietnam. So he opposed the idea of resisting the French with the help of the court. With the help of the court, he wanted to resist the French. But not like Pan Bai Chao and other revolutionaries. His idea was quite different. Now we can see there is a difference between the ideas or the views. Number 7, his desire. What was his desire? His desire was to establish a democratic republic. Pan Bai Chao Trin, Pan Chao Trin, not Pan Chao Trin wanted to establish a democratic republic. He was deeply influenced by the democratic ideals, the values of the West, and did not reject totally Western civilization. Whereas Pan Bai Chao, which we have learned before, he wanted to support the Nguyen dynasty and set up the dynastic rule there in Vietnam. But this Pan Chao Trin, he wanted a democratic republic, and he was deeply influenced by the ideals of the West, especially the French Revolution. Now here, number 8, he accepted the French Revolution ideal of liberty and sovereignty and freedom of expression and so on. He accepted these values but charged the French. He accepted their values. They were very good for the people of Vietnam, but at the same time he charged the French for not abiding by the ideal. Abiding means following. He charged the French. He said to the French that the French are not following their ideals, which was followed in French Revolution, freedom of speech and liberty. But here they are not freeing the Vietnamese. They are dominating the Vietnamese. So that's why he charged the French for not abiding or following their own ideals, which was followed in French Revolution. Number 9, he demanded the French government, he demanded that the French set up legal and educational institutions, because he wanted to modernize Vietnam too. He wanted to set up democratic ideals or democratic republic there. So he demanded the French that they must set up legal and educational institution in Vietnam to modernize Vietnam and develop agriculture and industry. So they must also help, the French must also help the Vietnamese to develop agriculture as well as industry, so that it could be, or the Vietnam could be modernized. But ultimately, deep down in his heart, he wanted to establish a democratic republic in Vietnam. So in this way, the views differ from Pan Bai Chao and Pan Chao Trin. These are the two differences, different vision of modernization. according to their views about the modernization of Vietnam. So in our next class we will talk about 5.1 next, other ways of becoming modern. So there were other ways of becoming modern, such as we'll talk about Japan and China. So that's all for today. We'll meet in the next class and talk about the other ways of becoming modern, that is China and Japan, 5.1. So we are coming to the last portion. Slowly we are proceeding and coming to the last portion. So that's all for today. Study at home properly, don't waste your time, and go through the book as well according to the subtitle. You go through it. So that's all for today. Thank you very much.